right, thanks for tuning in to Last Cop Live right here on News Center Maine Plus. It is Thursday, the 8th of January.
And we'll start with some stories we're following this morning, beginning with this. The Maine CDC is not changing its guidelines on vaccines for children, despite recent changes to federal recommendations. The U.S. CDC is now recommending 11 vaccines for children instead of 18, removing flu and COVID shots from the universally recommended list of vaccines. RSV vaccines are now recommended for those at high risk only. The director of the Maine CDC says states have control over whether to implement these recommendations and says that the public access to vaccines and insurance coverage in Maine should stay the same.
Now, since there's such a severe flu outbreak happening across the country right now, doctors and nurses are wearing masks regularly, also asking patients to do the same. Eastern Maine Medical Center in Bangor announcing that all of its clinical staff will now be wearing masks whenever interacting with patients. Patients and visitors are encouraged to wear them. However, the hospital says masking will be optional in waiting areas as well as in the lobbies and in the cafe.
Nurses at Northern Maine Medical Center in Fort Kent are recertifying their union. They say this vote comes during contract negotiations that started nearly 2 years ago. This marks the second time nurses have voted to recertify their union since it formed in 2024.
There are going to be 2 hearings today concerning a fatal confrontation between 2 motorcycle clubs in Portland a couple of years ago. First hearing is on the state's motion to revoke bail for Caleb Cedre. He's currently facing elevated aggravated assault charges in that case.
And Nathan Walsh is facing the same charges, and the state is looking to amend his bail. Both hearings are scheduled for this afternoon in Cumberland County. One woman was killed in the violent clash. Aaron Karp, the man accused of shooting her, pleaded guilty to manslaughter last year. All right, Todd, let's look at that forecast for today.
All right. First of all, don't put your guard down just yet, even though we've got warmer temperatures on the way. It is slippery out this morning. You know, I mean, the snow and sleet from yesterday, icing near the coastline. So there are going to be some problems. And there are actually some 2-hour delays I saw in eastern and northern Maine.
And the temps are right on like the freezing borderline, right?
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. But it is a pretty morning in most spots. It's quiet out there. Our current temps, as you can see, are around 32 in many areas. There are some colder spots, like Freiburg's 17, Sanford's 21, even Portland at 26 degrees there. So again, it is going to be slippery for a little while. But then we warm up, milder air flowing into the East Coast. Going to be on the warm side these next several days in a row, right up through Saturday afternoon, and then Sunday starts to get a little chillier. Tomorrow afternoon, we'll see the chance for some rain showers. We'll clear out this morning, get a lot of bright sunshine for the middle of the day. A lot of us hit 40 degrees, so we'll get thawing, we'll get melting. It'll become kind of slushy and sloppy, on some of the sidewalks that haven't been, cleared off from yesterday and stuff like that. Late in the day, no problems, just temperatures that'll be dropping again tonight with new black ice issues tomorrow morning. So clearing, very slippery in spots, 25, sunshine melting midday 40, and clear and quiet this evening, 35. Be nice, it'll feel real good. It will.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Haven't felt it in a while.
Yeah, that'll be real good. All right, appreciate that. All right, let's get into what we've been thinking.
Okay.
So the food pyramid now has a new look. The Trump administration came out with a new inverted pyramid model this week. The widest part is now up top, and up there it lists fruits and vegetables, protein, dairy, healthy fats. The new guidelines also recommend eating more protein, more full fat foods. And then at the bottom of the new inverted pyramid is whole grains. Also recommended to avoid ultra processed foods like cookies, crackers, chips. Many people in the health community praised this move, but did also express concerns about the increase of protein.
I think there's 2 big concerns with this focus on higher protein. One is that people will immediately translate protein to meat and eat more red meat, thinking that's, the most healthful choice when there are other healthier choices. And 2, that all of these highly processed foods that are right now adding protein isolates, energy bars and water and cereals are going to get a big boost.
Now, when it comes to ultra-processed foods, Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says he believes that they are destroying public health. Also says he does not believe that they currently need to be regulated.
Do we want to go down this road?
I feel like we have been down this road before.
Yeah, we have.
So it used to be a pyramid a regular pyramid. Now they're inverting the pyramid?
Yeah, because I think they're
Are
basically.
they just trying to say, what are they trying to
I think they're putting the widest part at the top to just emphasize it more.
because people look to the top first?
I guess, just so that they're, to.
Okay.
There you go. There it is. Yeah, it's helpful seeing it. Yeah, I mean, I think that makes sense because, the widest part was always, similar, the fruits and vegetables and stuff, but it was at the bottom, so it could be construed
as least
differently,
important.
I guess, I guess. Yeah, and I suppose the whole grains thing is controversial. You know what? The bottom line is we are never, ever, if, the world is fortunate enough to continue for another couple of million years, going to get everyone on the same page when it comes to nutrition.
Sure.
We're just not going to do it. The fight between, protein and this and that. I mean, I think pretty much everyone universally agrees that more fruits and vegetables are a good thing.
Right.
But other than that, and that ultra-processed foods, so one end of the spectrum to the other, the ultra-processed foods, I don't think anyone is going to argue that they're okay.
That they're good for you, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So that they nourish your body
But
in
at
any
the
way,
same
which is what food is supposed to do.
Every single human has a different, metabolic makeup, and all of those will affect every person differently. So whatever might work for you might not work for me, and it could be the same thing and the same
Right, but-
concept.
And that's
So,
true too.
That's
I
very
mean, so
true.
you
I'm
it at least has to be
specific.
taken into account. I'm not talking
Yeah.
about like you're saying with the ultra processed foods and the stuff that's inherently bad for you. I think we all can agree on that, and you just choose to eat it or not. But as far as the other things and the level of importance of them, I think some people can have tons of red meat, no problem. Some people can't. Some people get their protein from other places. I mean, you can get protein from places besides red meat for sure.
Yeah.
So
But
you
to
don't
Sharon's
meat at
point-
all, really.
but to
Or
Sharon's
any meat,
point,
sure.
Fruits and vegetables, I mean, there are specific cases with people, like they don't sit well with them. But fruits and vegetables, I don't think anyone's going to say, like, if you have more fruits and vegetables, that's unhealthy for you.
With a few exceptions.
Right, but so like an orange is a fruit, right?
Yes.
Super high in sugar, super high in carbs.
These are natural sugars.
I understand, but I'm saying you can argue all this stuff, I think is the point. So I think for each person, you have to figure out what makes the most sense for you and do the best you can. Understanding the extremes
Goldie.
of what's unhealthy and what's healthy.
I think there are specific cases where certain fruits and vegetables don't work with your metabolic makeup, as you say.
I'll give an example. I know I have a friend who has a skin condition. And it took her a long time to figure out what was causing her skin condition. And it's shade vegetables, things like red peppers, which are full of vitamin C, delicious, and generally considered very
Like
healthy.
a superfood, right? That's something that's very good for you.
Right,
Yeah.
and I forget what else is in there. Like tomatoes, I think is a shade vegetable. I don't know the definitions. I know Tom Brady is against eating shade vegetables. Isn't that part of
Yeah,
his
he
big
doesn't do
TB12,
tomatoes.
whatever?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but most people would say that they are very healthy choices, right?
Yeah.
So there are exceptions even in the fruit and vegetable category, but generally speaking, other than having some certain condition that reacts with certain fruits and vegetables. Most people don't get enough fruits and vegetables, period, end of story. Like, I think we can all agree on that one, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Right, and speaking of ultra-processed foods, 2 recent studies found that common food preservatives may be linked to a higher risk of cancer and a higher risk of type 2 diabetes. So again, these are separate studies. The cancer study was published in the British Medical Journal. Researchers followed more than 100,000 people who were free of cancer in 2009. The subjects were followed for up to 14 years. Researchers found that 6 preservatives were linked to cancer, even though they were generally recognized as safe in food by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. The diabetes study was published in the Nature Communications Journal. It looked into the role of preservatives and the potential risk of type 2 diabetes in more than 100,000 people who did not have the disease at the start. And it found that 12 preservatives coincided with a 50% higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes in people who consumed the highest levels of these preservatives. The first author of both studies says the data suggests regulations governing the use of food additives should be re-evaluated.
That's pretty interesting.
It is.
And Maybe you guys know this better than I do. So like cancers. I would assume like there were skin cancers that were around, 300 years ago. Was there lung cancer? Was there ovarian cancer?
Like, has there always been this much cancer?
Has there always been this much cancer?
Yeah.
Or did things like perhaps this and smoking and alcohol and all that create these cancers? You know what I'm saying?
Like, was there sunscreen 200 years ago
Right.
to even use, and were there high
Right,
cases
like that's
of skin
why,
cancer?
That's why I said skin cancer,
where in
because
today's
there's always
world-
been sun.
Yeah,
But there hadn't always been
a way to block it.
like cigarettes or these preservatives to extend the shelf life of food, dyes, and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I'd love to know the answer. I don't know it. I'm just asking if anyone does.
Yeah, I'm not going to say definitively. I've read a lot about this,
And what have you
I've
read?
seen a lot about this. Is that the cancer is so much on the rise.
It's on the rise because of some of the adjustments.
Because of our lifestyles?
Because of our lifestyles.
lifestyles.
Of our lifestyles.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yep. And I looked too at so I wanted to know, of course, what are the preservatives? Because yes, okay, so again, if we can all start from ultra processed foods, which we recognize as things that come in boxes and bags in the stores, right? With numerous ingredients, are just generally things if you want to be healthier, you eliminate or cut down on, right? But then I wanted to know, what are the preservatives that are linked to this? Because there are some things that have relatively few ingredients and that are labeled as healthier
Deemed as healthy.
or implied that they're healthier.
Or a better choice.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, that might have some of these things in them. And one of the preservatives listed in one of the studies, I think it was the diabetes study, was citric acid.
Oh, wow.
Citric acid is in literally
Everything.
everything.
Yeah.
If it doesn't come straight from the ground or a farm, if it's not straight up meat or a fruit or a vegetable, almost everything has citric acid in it.
Oh, wow.
So
One of them was citric acid.
yes.
Holy moly.
You wanna-
Yes.
you know what? No, we're not going to do that.
I know.
what are you gonna
I'm
do?
sorry.
There's no way this ends well. You want to look at every country in the world, which we can say has brilliant doctors in their own right and scientists that do their own research and their own studying and have their own information, and how some countries this food is not allowed, and in some countries the same food is allowed.
Wait, when you say food, you're talking about food additives.
I'm talking about stuff that the FDA approves that maybe is banned in other countries. Why are they banning it? And if we're allowing it and they're banning it, why don't we look into that? Why would they ban that? And then maybe do some research and then figure out what the health problems that maybe America has that country doesn't have. And what are we doing?
You're starting to sound like me.
Why aren't we all?
This is scary.
Health-wise.
I was thinking that in my head.
But health-wise,
Yes.
why aren't we all, as a collective world, on the same page? We can use the brains and the intelligence of all these
Geopolitical,
people.
money, yeah.
Well, that's what. So my only answer that I come back to is money,
Yeah.
right? And at the sacrifice of the health of different populations. I'm not saying America versus
Exactly.
other countries probably have it worse. I'm just saying, how do we not have one set of rules where this is good, this is bad, and everybody jump on board? Because there's so many places that do have lower instances of health issues than America has.
And higher standards of what is not allowed in products.
And if it's not allowed, if these things are not allowed there, make the correlation and the connection go, oh, maybe that's it.
Yeah.
But how much is that going to cost?
And who's it
How
going
much is that
to
gonna cost?
affect the bottom line for which companies?
who have major lobbyists.
Who have lobbyists? Yes, exactly.
Yep.
So anyway, some
Did they
doctors.
actually
friends in government.
Did they actually think it would be a good idea for us to just be off the cuff on this
Well, I don't
program?
think we didn't throw anyone
No,
under the bus
I think we're okay for now. So some doctors say,
Stop while
We
we're
get closer and closer every day now.
I'm going to keep going. A large factor impacting your eating habits is your sleep. Doctors say the less you sleep, the more you eat. Well, yeah, because you're awake. When you're sleep deprived, your body has a stress response that throws off your appetite hormones. So what that response does is it turns up your hunger cues. Experts say your body will then crave more unhealthy foods because you need that sugar to get your energy up. But doctors also say it's pretty easy to reset and fix your habits. Once you reset your sleep, then your hormones go back to normal, and so do your cravings. Oh, so that's all you have to do. Okay, well, there you go. At least it's an easy solution.
It ain't for us.
Just go ahead and
It ain't for the three of us.
Just go ahead and get more sleep. Thanks. Never thought of that. Got a medical school for that?
Can you add 4 hours to the day?
I know.
Nope, because I'd have to work those 4 hours.
right.
That doesn't help me.
It would
It
no
does
longer
not
be,
help
yeah,
me.
It'd be like a 12-hour workday.
Yeah. Welcome to the last cup. It's 1:30 in the afternoon. Glad you're still here.
You're on your
Are you
19th
out
cup
of
of
your
coffee.
mind? Exactly.
All right.
Jeez.
While we're down this rabbit hole, some health experts are questioning the accuracy of some new AI-powered health products. Oh, here we go. At the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas this week, tech companies are selling everything from smart scales to hormone trackers. This emerging health technology comes as the federal government is removing barriers for regenerative AI's use and easing regulations on some wellness products. So some health and tech experts are now asking where people's data is going and how well the tech actually works. The creators of the products say they protect their customers' privacy while working to fill in health care gaps.
All right. AI also being used to power online companions. Oh my gosh. You guys remember the virtual pet, the Tamagotchi? Back in the 90s, I had these things were just the bane of my existence. So now there's a 21st century version. It's called Squeaker. Creators say the AI-powered companions allow owners to feed them and play with them and more. The pet reveals its personality over time. The inventor says he wanted to create a pet that would be easy to take care of while traveling frequently. So, yeah, those things, the Tamagotchis, they were the rage, and the kids had to have them, and you had to foster it and take care of it, and so the kids were all in for like the first day or two, and then it's on the counter,
Just like a real pet.
and it's got the sad face,
Exactly.
and then you go, oh, I gotta go fix the Tamagotchi, and come here, buddy, and there you are with this handheld plastic piece of junk, and I'm just like, for $79, and the kids are like, I don't want to play with that anymore. I'm like, you're killing Tamagotchi.
Right, it's dead. Now I got to take care
Now
of it too. Just like I have to take care of every
now
dog
I
and every
gotta
cat.
Tamagotchi, yeah.
Clean every litter
Oh,
box.
Daddy, please, I promise. Okay, sweetie. Never once helps that pet
Right,
ever.
right.
Just like a
So
real
we'll
pet.
let the dog out?
like real
Nope.
deal.
Like, okay, great.
Yeah.
But wait a sec, were there other iterations of that? Because I don't recognize that name, but I feel
don't
like
either.
there were other
Maybe.
types of virtual critters, pets,
Yeah, and
whatever
there was
that people took care
what
of.
was that thing called? The Furby.
Yeah.
That
it
thing.
was
It
fun.
was like
I-
talking.
Yes, maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Yes,
You had to like
so
play with that and
cute.
didn't shut up. There's no off button.
Like those don't like if
there
this thing
wasn't.
develops a personality though, like with time the personality grows, it would kind of like my cat has developed a personality over the last I don't know, it's kind of an interesting concept.
But you could have a kid have an attention span long enough to do that.
I'm not talking about a kid, I'm talking about like an adult.
An adult
that
playing
travels,
with Meeker.
an adult that wants to that doesn't want to take on the responsibility of a
An
living
actual pet,
animal
sure.
because they want to maintain their current lifestyle.
Stay tuned.
Oh.
A new type of robotic pet is providing
here we
some
go.
comfort
Good idea, Todd.
Yeah, darn. I should have thought of it like 2 years ago.
to people who aren't able to take care of living animals anymore. Tombot has invented a Labrador named Jenny. It's a robot meant for people with dementia and Alzheimer's. The company says these dogs can respond to certain voice commands and can even respond when scratched or pet. The CEO says he was inspired after his own mother had to have her dog taken away for safety when she developed Alzheimer's. He says she was distraught over that.
There was yellow hair all over.
Along the way, I learned that my mom's story is shared by over 300 million seniors with dementia or pre-dementia mild cognitive impairment. So we launched Tombot to be in service to those people.
I will take such good care of her. I will love her and pet her and scratch her belly.
Oh my goodness. The company Tombot already has 20,000 pre-orders and waitlist customers from 116 countries. Brilliant.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
So good. Wait, before we move on, is anyone else feeling like
A
air
breeze.
conditioning?
It just kicked
It's
on.
freezing in here. Can you go turn up the heat?
I actually don't know how to work it. I've only been here
I
for
do.
25 years. I don't know how to work that.
I do. I'm doing it. I'm not sitting
All
here.
right, you
anymore.
go and I'll do this.
Okay. Oh wait, you need this.
No, I'm good. Disney announced that another one of its animated movies is going to be getting a live-action remake. Yep, we're going to go with Tangled for this one to the silver screen. Disney announcing that Tegan Croft is going to play Rapunzel. Milo Manheim will be playing Flynn Rider. Croft previously played Jessica Watson in Netflix's True Spirit. Manheim was the star of Disney's Zombies film franchise. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Disney hired the Greatest Showman director, Michael Gracie, to direct this live-action film. No release date yet for that movie. So, there you go.
Okay. Meantime, the cast list continues to expand for the upcoming Avengers movie. Marvel recently announced that the original X-Men are returning for Avengers Doomsday. That includes actors Sir Ian McKellen and James Marsden. Their return to the MCU was announced in a new teaser trailer. It follows other teasers for the film, which announced the return of Chris Evans as Captain America and Chris Hemsworth as Thor. Avengers Doomsday is set to hit theaters on December 18th.
One of the most well-rated sitcoms of the early 2000s is going to make a comeback this year. There's going to be a Malcolm in the Middle miniseries. It's going to come out on Hulu and Disney Plus April 10th. April 10th!
That's my birthday. And your son's birthday.
Both of my sons. You and him. The four-part series is called Malcolm in the Middle. Life is Still Unfair. It follows Malcolm, played by Frankie Muniz, as he comes back to visit his family for the first time in 10 years. Most of the members of the main cast, Bryan Cranston, Jane Kasmerick, all coming back for this reboot.
I've never seen that show.
I've
Is
never
that
seen it.
weird? Oh, you haven't?
have
Oh, I
not.
thought I was going to be the odd man out on
No, I
this
haven't
one.
seen it.
I know it was really popular. I turned it
It
up.
feels like it's getting cold.
I
It takes,
know.
it takes a bit.
I'm sorry, but I was feeling that right down the back of my neck. I
Yeah,
still
right.
am. It's very uncomfortable.
You want my jacket?
Wow, that was very,
No, it's okay.
very
That's, I know that is.
you.
sweet of you.
It is freezing.
ridiculous.
What's happening?
Okay.
Walk-in cooler.
Because
Okay.
it's the first time it's above 20 outside, so all of a
maybe.
sudden we need the AC.
I'm very
in
excited
the,
about
in the
this. This is
studio.
a bucket
Oh, okay.
list moment for me.
Okay.
Maybe. One of the biggest stars of the 2010s is making a comeback, although I'm not sure he left. Bruno Mars is set to release his fourth studio album soon. He recently announced on social media he just finished it up. It's been about a decade since his last solo album, 24 Karat Magic. Most of the details about the album, like the title, release date, still unclear, whether or not there's going to be a tour. So that's my bucket list. He is on my top 5. Would love to see at some
I
point
didn't realize
in
he
life.
hadn't made a record in over 10 years.
Well, he just did the song with Lady Gaga, which was #1 in the country, Die With a Smile. So he's been in. He hasn't done his own. He's done some collabs.
But still, it's really funny because when you're in your 20s and your favorite artist goes 10 years without releasing an album, it's been forever.
Right.
When you hit this stage of life and someone hasn't made an album in 10 years, it's like, oh, it's been 10 years.
And the Beatles
Where
only
did
did
that time
6
go?
total albums, right? So they're the greatest group of all time. So yeah, good stuff. All right.
All right, here are some celebrities celebrating birthdays today, starting with this television personality.
This guy.
Here's your host, the star of the Newlywed Game, Bob Eubanks.
Bob
The
Eubanks
best.
is 88 today. He was the host of the Newlywed Game from 1966 to 1988. Before that, in the 50s, he was a disc jockey and radio show host. In the 60s, he was also a concert promoter for acts like the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. Also, throughout his life, he participated in rodeos for fun. He's even a gold card member of the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association.
All right, tell the truth. If I had said to you before this, Bob Eubanks dead or alive, what would your guess have been?
I would have
No
guessed
idea.
he passed.
I would have said passed as well.
Yes.
The only thing I know about Bob Eubank is I'm pretty. He must have coined the phrase "making whoopee."
Making whoopee. Yeah.
Yes.
Making
Yeah.
whoopee.
did.
Oh, so good. That show was so
Yeah,
good.
it just cracks
You watch
me
some
up.
old clips of the Newlywed Game, that will crack you up. That's some good entertainment. If you're bored, go on YouTube for 12 minutes and watch those things. Those
Okay.
I'm just
funny.
enjoying the fashion and the hairdos
sideburns.
and all of that.
look at
Yeah,
those-
yeah.
those chops.
But that's interesting because he is still around, but he hasn't been in the spotlight forever.
How old
It's been
did
a
we
long
say
time.
he was?
88.
That's it?
Yeah, I would have said older too.
Yep.
So he might. I mean,
said 102.
If that
Yeah.
show was popular in the '60s, right?
Right.
So that was 60 years ago. He must have been in his 20s hosting that
That's
stuff.
amazing.
Which is wild.
Which is
He's like a
awesome.
Ryan
Yeah.
Seacrest.
Yeah.
That's
Awesome.
Incredible.
All right. Also, this actress's birthday on this day. The unmistakable voice of Cynthia Erivo. She's 39 today. The British actress recently shot to major fame playing Elphaba in the Wicked film series. She's also had major success on Broadway. She's won a Tony, a Grammy, an Emmy for all of her work in the revival of The Color Purple. Also the first black actress to ever be nominated 2 times for Best Actress in a Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy at the Golden Globe Awards. She is a rock star. So, happy birthday.
Well, she is nominated for a Golden Globe this year. She will notably not be attending the awards show. Variety reports that she'll miss Sunday's ceremony because she is preparing for the opening of the West End production of Dracula. The performance is set to be a huge undertaking as Erivo is playing all 23 characters herself.
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
The production is set to run from February 4th until May 31st. This is Erivo's first time doing an extended run on stage in more than 10 years. She says she's very scared, but excited to take on the production.
She's fearless. Do you know what she just got done doing? You probably don't, because you probably don't follow her like I do. She was cast as Jesus in Jesus Christ Superstar. And Adam Lambert was Brutus, and she was Jesus, and they did the musical in Los Angeles, and she played the lead role in that, and which was obviously super groundbreaking / controversial /
right.
but she's like, yep, bring it, and she played Jesus in Jesus Christ Superstar.
Wow. We said that it's coming out March or whatever, February, running through May in the West End.
London.
Is that London? That's
Yeah.
London. Okay. Yeah.
So, all right, nominations are out for the Actor Awards. You may know them by their previous name, the Screen Actors Guild Awards, but they're modifying. In film, Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another got 7 nominations. The Ryan Coogler horror blockbuster Sinners got 5. Ariana Grande got a nod for outstanding performance in a supporting role in Wicked for Good. Her co-star Cynthia Erivo was not nominated. And on the streaming side, Adam Brody was nominated for lead male actor for the popular Netflix comedy Nobody Wants This. You have to watch this.
I know.
And it's
You haven't seen it?
so
I still
good.
haven't
Oh, it's really, really good.
And his
I know.
co-star Kristen Bell.
You'll fly through it too.
Yes, because
very
like
quick.
35-minute episodes. It's
Yeah.
great.
And it's
Kristen
very
Bell was not
entertaining.
nominated, which is too bad because she's great.
Yeah, she was really
the
good,
Actor
too.
Awards, newly named, are going to be on Netflix now,
Nice.
and that'll be on Sunday, the 1st of March.
All right, taking our first break here. When we get back, we will look deeper into the forecast and have your submissions for Animal Picture Thursday.
Oh.